Now on Fast Track News, we're going to find out why students suddenly dropped a mandatory computer science course.
Plus, why Purdue students may not be able to use their student IDs to vote after all.
And it's Grand Prix week, Boilers. Fast Track has you covered with all the festivities leading up to the race. All your campus news, weather, and sports is straight ahead. This is Fast Track News.
Happy Friday, Boilermakers. I'm Maria Vaughter.
And I'm Bailey Burns. It's Friday, April 24th. Here's a look at your campus news for the week. First, it's Grand Prix week. Reporter Riley List has a look into the work that goes into preparing for Grand Prix.
The Purdue Student Union Board hosted their annual 3rd Street Takeover for Grand Prix week this Thursday. The takeover includes carts from various teams, a Kona ice truck, driving simulator, and even a chance to win Grand Prix tickets. In terms of the race itself, one team had some information to share.
I'm here out on 3rd Street for the Purdue Student Union Board's annual 3rd Street Takeover for Grand Prix week, and I have some of the members of the Honors College racing crew here to answer a few questions. Okay, so my first question for you guys is, how much work has your team put in to prepare for this year's race?
I mean, it depends, of course, on the time of the year, but towards race week, we're putting in upwards of 20 hours a week. We're in the shop constantly, and it's kind of impromptu too. Allie, the crew chief, she's like, hey, we have shop hour tonight. And then all of us kind of drop what we're doing and then head to shop.
Awesome, that sounds like a lot of work. Okay, so my next question for you guys is, what is the turnaround from when one Grand Prix race ends, to preparing for the next race?
I think for our team, we are doing stuff all year long. So in reality, we're going to finish the Grand Prix, and then probably in 2 weeks, we'll be back out on a track somewhere. We plan to do some testing this summer and then start a fall series in the fall. So a very short turnaround.
Yeah, that is a really short turnaround. Okay, and then my final question for you guys is, this is more general. Is there any difference from last year's race to this year's race?
Yeah, so you see a new foundation board every year, and they always do a great job. We appreciate all the work that they put in. I will say overall, just the competitiveness of the field. If you look, there's a graph out there of the times to make qualifying for the race, and it just goes like this. So it's getting more competitive every year, and every little thing counts when you're out there on track.
Awesome, that's really exciting to hear. Yeah. Okay, so Grand Prix is this Saturday with doors opening at 10 a.m. and time trials starting at 10:55. So if you want, some more fun at the race, head out on Saturday at 10 a.m. Reporting for Fast Track News, I'm Riley List.
Events continue today on Croc Lawn. That's where the sponsorship showcase is taking place until 2 p.m. You can interact with race sponsors and get a free Race 69 cup.
Later in this broadcast, Fast Track Sports will have a preview of Saturday's race.
The warm weather is upon us, spoilers, and I think it's safe to say that spring is finally here.
Meteorologist Bella Lopresti is here with a first look at the forecast.
Good afternoon, Boilermakers. Today we are looking at a partly cloudy skies with a high of 72 and a low of 60 degrees. Now we are going to look at the outlook for today. At 8 a.m. we are looking at cloudy skies, and that maintains throughout the day until 5 p.m. We see temperatures at 61 degrees at 8, 11 a.m. at 68 degrees, 2 p.m. at 72 degrees, 5 p.m. we see temperatures start to lower down at 70 degrees, and around 8 p.m. we are going to see some rain showers start to come in, and it'll be about 68 degrees.
Generative AI is on the rise, and its impact can be felt here at Purdue, where instructors have had to determine their stance on its use in the classroom.
If you've checked the Purdue subreddit lately, you've probably seen several threads concerning a computer science course taught by Dr. Jeffrey Terkstra. CS240 is a required course for computer science students. According to users on Reddit, last Thursday, April 16th, around half of students in the class received an email from Dr. Terkstra. The email was sent to students who he believed used generative AI on one or more homework assignments, which was not allowed in this course per the syllabus. The email also gave an ultimatum: deny cheating and have a negative letter sent to the office of the Dean of Students, or own up to it and have a more favorable letter sent. Either way, students would receive a failing grade. This was also the last day to drop a class this semester. In response, students have taken to Rate My Professor and Reddit. One student on Rate My Professor said, quote, "He needs to go, both for the good of the students at Purdue and for the good of the institution itself."
Another student had a different opinion, saying in part, "Too many babies. Yes, many of my classmates use AI. I've seen it firsthand. Everyone is complaining because they don't put in the work." Another student praised Turkstra in the class, saying he's a good CS teacher. Another user criticized how the issue was handled, posting that they didn't receive any email about the academic integrity issues, yet the way it was addressed in class created a stressful and discouraging atmosphere. That same user went further to say, quote, "It affected my trust in the course and I've chosen to transfer." Past CS students also weighed in, pointing out that they completed the class without AI. One former CS 240 student claimed their class didn't have it easier, and said about half of their class failed or withdrew, and one of their friends had to drop 3 times. The poster said, quote, "People who need to use AI to do their work don't deserve to pass any more than the people who used shared code didn't deserve to pass in our day."
Another user summed up the situation saying, quote, "It's a perfect storm of factors that led to an absolute administrative fiasco. AI is a new and evolving thing that no university knows what to do with, and this cohort happened to be the guinea pigs on which early detection methods, which will likely advance in the future, are being tested."
According to Reddit, this past Monday in the CS 240 lecture, Turkstra addressed the cheating accusations and student concerns. By then, news of the situation had spread and piqued the interest of students across campus.
In fact, police were stationed at the doors of the class of 1950 lecture hall to check IDs, only allowing students registered in the class to enter. Some students did live stream the class though, and Fast Track acquired one video.
I remain convinced that the students that we identified here cheated, not because the tool identified them, but because we actually looked at the markers and the associated code. If you're one of those students, you've not only disappointed me, but you've behaved in a way contrary to the Purdue spirit and Boilermaker values. It's my job as an instructor to enforce consequences in situations like this. And I want to be clear that I am in agreement with the dean and the department head that the process that we started and the timeline with which we followed for that was not great.
Fast Track has been told students that dropped the class have been allowed to re-enroll. Fast Track reached out to Dr. Turkstra for an interview to hear his side of the story, but as of this broadcast, we have not received a response.
We also reached out to the university spokesperson's office to find out if the university was aware and involved in this situation. We have also not heard back as of this broadcast.
If you're looking for something to do in between studying for finals, head to Stadium Nights, a Purdue Day of Giving event that offers a full evening of entertainment under the lights of Ross-Ade. The event on April 29th will kick off with the showing of the 2018 film First Man from 6 to 8:20 p.m. Concessions will be available throughout the film, including frozen custard and steak burgers from Freddy's. Following the film, there will be carnival games and food, chances to win exclusive Purdue merch, and a visit from President Mung Chang and other special guests to recognize America's 250th birthday and Purdue's contributions to the nation. A fireworks show will end the evening. And visit the QR code for information on how to register, parking, and how students can enter for a chance to win a scholarship challenge worth $10,000.
Purdue won. The Boilermaker-only spaceflight finally announced the full crew joining the maiden voyage. At last week's panel, the Executive Associate Dean of Engineering had this to say about the gravity of the mission.
Spaceflight in partnership with Virgin Galactic. This historic mission, dubbed Purdue One, the likes of which have not been attempted by any university in the world, will demonstrate that the essential functions of a land-grant university, learning, discovery, and engagement, are not confined by the surly bonds of gravity. Rather, they can actually flourish in the depths of space. In doing so, this mission is going to inspire the next generation of students so they can dream that they can meet their destiny among the stars, even if they're actually college students preparing for thermodynamics exams.
Purdue One's full crew for its very first voyage was announced in this panel as well. Florence Stahura, Beth Moses, Abigail Mizzi, Jason Williamson, and Stephen Collicott shared their experience becoming a part of this historic event. This spaceflight, the very first of its kind, is scheduled to depart in 2027. You can listen to the full panel on the Purdue Engineering YouTube channel.
There's another interstellar achievement being announced here in the Cradle of Astronauts. The Neil Armstrong Space Prize was awarded on Tuesday, April 21st in the Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering. This award seeks to recognize outstanding achievement and impact on humanity in space. The recipients, members of Falcon 9's landing team, stated, quote, "We want to recognize it wasn't just 5 people. Many engineers and technicians poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the achievement." The 5 individuals recognized by the award are Lars Blackmore, Shauna Diaz, John Edwards, Yoshi Kuwata, and Eduardo Velazquez. Their work on the reusable rocket system was vital to the success of the Falcon 9 mission and will continue to propel modern space travel in future missions. Up next, identification requirements are changing for students trying to vote in the primary election.
And still to come, Purdue baseball continues to roll through the Big Ten. How far can they go?
Coming up, we're sitting down with the newly elected Purdue Student Government President, Kelby Roberts. We'll talk about her goals for the 2026-2027 school year. That's coming up on Fast Track News.
We have our meetings where people can come in, write, draw on cards. We send them over to specific hospitals.
So I joined Letters of Love because the original creator of Letters of Love, her mom had cancer growing up, and she took all of these letters that her mom had made. So being able to give back to an organization that can make these kids feel like human again was the most important thing to me.
Hola from Spain. G'day, mates.
Buenos dias.
Bonjour.
Hello from South Korea.
I'm studying abroad in Valencia, Spain this semester. I'm studying abroad in Sydney, Australia.
I'm studying abroad in Madrid, Spain.
I'm studying at Seoul National University.
At Issa Supero in Toulouse, France.
And I'm really getting to enjoy meeting all the new people and the culture.
How different it is from Purdue University.
It is an absolutely fantastic experience.
I'm living my best life.
I can't wait to see you guys all overseas soon. A bientôt.
Adios.
Nos vemos en España.
A back-and-forth legal battle is causing confusion for student voters here in Indiana. Earlier this week, a federal judge blocked a state law that would have banned student IDs as an acceptable form of voter identification. The law, Senate Bill 10, was signed by previous Governor Eric Holcomb and would have ended a nearly 20-year practice of using student IDs at the polls. However, on Monday, that decision has since been put on hold by an order from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, led by Chief Judge Michael B. Brennan. This means the previous ruling is paused while the case is appealed, meaning student IDs are currently not accepted at polling locations. On Tuesday, April 22nd, the Purdue Co-Rec hosted pre-election voting, where 130 people cast ballots, but only 36 were under the age of 25. Indiana's primary election is May 5th. The Purdue Co-Rec will again be a voting site open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Students are encouraged to stay updated on identification requirements as legal challenges continue.
We have a special guest in the studio this week.
The newly elected student body president, Kelby Roberts, sat down to talk with reporter Hannah Guy.
I'm Hannah Guy, and I'm here with the new Purdue Student Government President-elect, Kelby Roberts. So Kelby, are there any goals for your term?
Yeah, so one thing is serving on the Purdue Student Government Cabinet these last 2 years, I've really had the opportunity to admire about both Jason and Becca's term and then now Becca and Nicholas's term is how accessible they are to students. And so one of the things that when Matthew, Lillian, and I were kind of discussing what our campaign was going to look like, who we wanted to be and how we wanted to serve the student body, that big thing was being accessible to students, being able to show up, intently listen, and then connect those students to the people that are going to ultimately have the power to make change, make those decisions. So being accessible, listening intently, and just being a voice for the student body is really what I'm most excited about and the ultimate goal this year.
Yeah. So is there any like specific policies, any initiatives you'd like to get started here while you're at Purdue?
Yeah, so our campaign, we had 3 pillar words. That was unify, amplify, and support. And obviously we're in the beginning stages and the super exciting, soaking in all the goodness right now. So we don't have anything written specifically, but for our unified pillar, we're really focused on the Indy and West Lafayette locations because we're all on campus. And so what can we do as student leaders here on this campus to really integrate student life for both Indianapolis and West Lafayette campus? Bring a little bit of Indy here and take a little bit of West Lafayette down there. And so Liliana is our vice president of Indianapolis. She's doing a wonderful job of really being a voice for what it's like to be a student in Indianapolis and helping us to envision that. And we're starting to put the pieces together to what exactly that will look like. Our second pillar was amplify. And so that's all about what can we do as student leaders to amplify the voice of the student body. And so like I said earlier, whether that's connecting people with the right people to make those decisions and make that change, or simply to help them find an avenue to be heard. So we really think that we'll have that kind of platform and that ability. So really leveraging that to amplify those voices, and then support. What can we do to support the student bodies, whether it's their needs, their wants, maybe a big dream or just a little thought? Like, how can we support the student body, and how can we make their college experience everything that they've imagined? So those are our 3 main pillars that our initiatives are going to be falling under, but we're really excited to get to work once we get our cabinet appointed and get our feet on the ground running. So
awesome, awesome. So what inspired you to run for this position?
Yeah, so I grew up in a rural town in Indiana, Rushville, and so for me, servant leadership was, 1, preached to me by my ag teacher, and 2, it was all around me, whether it was, my dad helping out the neighbor farmer, or there was just constant demonstration of what it means to serve others and serve others well. And so that's kind of been something that I've carried with me all my life. And so I mentioned my ag teacher. He and I spent a lot of time reading books about leadership and theory and philosophy and things of that sort. And one of my favorite is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And that law number 5 is the law of addition. And it's talking about how a leader should add value to the lives of others. And so I've kind of carried that with me. I had the opportunity to serve in kind of a pre-professional leadership role before I got here to Purdue in a gap year. And then now that I'm here, it's something that has never left. So as I got involved with Purdue student government as a parliamentarian underneath both of Becca's administrations last year and this year, I kind of had it on my heart, well, if I had the opportunity to serve in a greater capacity, then let it be that. And so when Matthew came along, was like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this, can we talk? We instantly clicked, and it just felt like it was the right thing to do. And then Liliana's come along just the way. So it's kind of just a heart for servant leadership and the excitement to do so.
Awesome, awesome. Well, leading into your term, what are you most excited about?
I think meeting students that I wouldn't otherwise meet. We were talking a little bit before this. I am on the Ag Week Task Force, and so being one of the 20 students to put on that big event, one of my favorite things is meeting students and just making those connections that I wouldn't otherwise have. And I know that this next year and this opportunity and this role, I'm going to be able to do the same. And so, meeting students, having conversations, whether they're brief or in depth, whether they're some of the more tough conversations, and being able to act upon that and work alongside students to really, I know it's going to help me grow in a lot of ways, but also to help students and those around me grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, on the contrary, what are you most nervous about heading into your term?
Oh, I think logistics. I feel like I right now have a pretty good handle on from not totally outside view, but kind of I'm inside the lines, but still outside perspective being on cabinet. I feel like I have a pretty good touch of what's going on, but I know there's going to be a lot of surprises and a lot of things to navigate, but we've already kind of started talking with Martia, Dr. King, and so she's super, super helpful and super sure that we're going to get through everything all right, and I know we will. But I think once we start to kind of navigate those things, I'll feel a lot better. But right now, it's still a little nerve-wracking.
Of course, completely understandable. Yes. So if you could change one thing about Purdue, what would it be?
Oh, That's really hard. So I'm a third generation student, so I've loved it here. My mama grew up 15 minutes away from here, so it's been like my whole life has been being a Boilermaker. But I think one thing that Becca and Nicholas have been working on, and what we're going to hopefully kind of absorb and continue to work with student leaders on, is tenant-landlord laws. Indiana has some loose tenant-landlord laws, which is directly impacting students here. And I know for me, my apartment is a little more expensive than maybe what I would like to pay. And so maybe that's not what we can change, but looking at those laws and really taking a look at those and seeing how it can impact students. But I love life at Purdue. I love it here. So I think changing things like about Purdue would be difficult, but I'm excited to see what we can do.
But definitely that's something students really care about is housing and, you know, making sure it's affordable for everyone.
Absolutely.
All right. So what should students know about you as well as your vice presidents?
Oh, that's really hard. We're three very, very different people. So I am in the College of Ag studying agriculture economics with the pre-law and policy concentration, with the odd pivot career plan of going to strategic communications. But Matthew is in the College of Sciences. He's doing pre-med. And so he's kind of got an interest in becoming a surgeon. In fact, he told me, he was like, if there's one skill I can master in a day, it'd be performing surgery. And I was like, wow, that's niche, that's cool. I don't know if I've ever met anyone like that. And then Liliana, she is from Tennessee, so she's the one out-of-state student. She's at Purdue Indy. She's studying engineering, big into NASA. So we're three very different people, very different personalities and backgrounds, but so far we've definitely come together, become really connected, and we're super, super excited to serve and listen and act upon what the student body needs from us.
Yeah, and a great representation of Purdue's student body as a whole, you know, 3 different majors, but all very well represented in our community. Okay, so final question, how can students share feedback with you?
Yes, absolutely. Right now we have our Instagram page, which is Robert Schultz Starmer 26, some variation of that. It took me so long to find a username that wasn't already taken. And so we have that Instagram page. We can, obviously, we're happy to hear things through DMs, but also the Boilermaker briefing still comes out every once in a while from our press secretary and the communications team and student government. And so there's different avenues and filing concerns and things of that sort, which will be absorbed and carried through with transition. So even though those are going to be submitted now, if they are submitted now, those are still things that we're going to have access to and be able to act upon. And then it'll look more than likely pretty much the same in the coming year. Once we get transitioned to a new cabinet. But yes, however you can reach out to us, we're always happy to listen.
Wonderful. Well, if there's anything else you'd like to share, anything else you'd like to add to the students?
I don't think so, but thank you for having me. Thank you guys
of course,
for listening.
it's wonderful to have you. And that concludes our interview with President-elect Kelby Roberts.
We're excited to see what Roberts and her team will accomplish in the upcoming school year.
You can find more information on Roberts and her 2 vice presidents on their Instagram, roberts.schultz.starmer.2026.
After serving as the interim dean since 2022, Philip J. Van Fossen was recently announced to be Purdue's Susie and Dale Gallagher Dean of the College of Education. Van Fossen has worked at Purdue University for nearly 3 decades, holding different leadership roles throughout the years, 2 of these being Associate Dean for Learning and head of the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. In a statement published by Purdue News, Van Fossen stated that he looks forward to continuing our efforts to move the college forward in the fast-changing world of AI and other areas, and that he will leverage the momentum we have built through our cutting-edge curriculum to transform our teacher education programs. We congratulate Van Fossen on his appointment and look forward to his leadership.
Looking into our weekend, we have 72 degrees on Friday. We are going to see some sunshine in the morning on that day and then rain later into the evening. It is going to be a high of 62, a low of 60 degrees. And then on Saturday, we actually see full sunshine throughout the day for Grand Prix, which is going to be great. 68 degrees is the high, 53 is the low. And on Sunday, we're going to see partly cloudy skies with a high of 71 degrees and a low of 47.
Thomas Entomological Society is a great place to get to know fellow people who have a love of everything insect, between opportunities to interact with real entomologists, real insects, and just to form a community around the love of bugs. It's a great place for anyone, and we try and be inclusive for everyone as well.
Follow the Thomas A. Entomological Society on Instagram today to see what all the buzz is about.
Anyone is welcome here. You don't have to be queer to come here. You're welcome to just come in, stop by, say hi to people.
I feel like it's helped me find my friend group. I don't think that without this place I would have had such a strong, close-knit social group as I've formed here.
Welcome back, Boilers. Looking at our headlines, we see clear conditions into the weekend, showers coming early next week, and then temperatures maintain in the low 70s. Now looking at Saturday for Grand Prix, we see sunshine throughout the entire day. At 8 a.m. we see 53 degrees, 11 a.m. 60 degrees, and 2 p.m. up to 66 degrees. And we are going to hit our high at 5 p.m., which is 68 degrees, and at around 8 p.m. temperatures lower back down to 62. Now I want to note some rain showers ahead. On Monday we're going to see some slight rain come in throughout the day, and then possibly even some severe weather throughout that day as well. Possible thunderstorms into the evening for that day. Now looking at our 7-day outlook, we see rain showers throughout starting at night on Friday with a high of 72 and a low of 60 degrees. Saturday we see that sunshine all throughout the day. Again, that's going to be perfect weather for Grand Prix. We see a high of 68 and a low of 53. On Sunday we see mostly cloudy skies with some sunshine here and there, and then a high of 71 degrees and a low of 47. On Monday is when we start to see steady showers throughout the day and possible thunderstorms into the evening. We have a high of 70 degrees and a low of 55. And then on Tuesday, we are going to see partly cloudy skies with some sunshine here and there, and a high of 62 degrees with a low of 48. On Wednesday and Thursday, we see cloudy skies throughout the day. Wednesday, we have a high of 62 degrees and a low of 45. Thursday, we have 61 degrees with a low of 50. Now looking at our future cast, I just want to note again that on Monday we are going to have possible severe weather. Rain is steady throughout the day, and as you can see, those red spots may indicate that there may be some thunderstorms throughout the day on Monday.
Just ahead, Purdue basketball makes some major changes to their coaching staff, and Purdue baseball makes history this weekend.
I'm Kelly Gibson.
And I'm Lorelai Yeager. Don't go away, sports is next.
Purdue baseball brought out the brooms last weekend at Alexander Field, taking all 3 games from Ohio State in a statement series for the Boilers. Fast Track Sports reporter Ellie Jones shares more on how the Boiler bats came alive.
Friday night, Purdue got it started with 6 runs in the second inning, holding on for a tight win of 10-9. Sam Flores and Eli Anderson led that path, combining for 7 RBI in a game that came down to the final out. Saturday, the Boilers put up another 6-run inning and rolled past the Buckeyes 12-7, with multiple players turning and multi-hit performances, securing the series win. Sunday, Austin Klug had a shutout into the 7th, and the Boilers swept the Buckeyes again 6-2. Friday night's game, senior pitcher Jake Kramer mentioned how the team is able to take the first win and use it to continue through the weekend.
I feel pretty happy about it. I mean, we got the first win. You know, we get a chance to go out tomorrow and sweep them or win the series. But, you know, handled some adversity in that first at bat he got on, but we ended up getting out of it, so couldn't be happier.
And they did just that. This series is Purdue's first sweep of Ohio State since 1987, and the Boilers have now won 10 of their last 11 conference games.
At Alexander Field, Ellie Jones, Fast Track Sports.
The Boilers shined over the weekend, but fell to Indiana State on Tuesday with a 6-5 loss. They'll be back at it tonight against the University of Southern California.
Sports can take athletes all over the country, but every once in a while, everything lines up close to home.
That's exactly the case for the Pierce brothers.
For Purdue University's forward, Caden Pierce, his final college season just got a little more special with family right down the road. His older brother, Alec Pierce, is sticking with the Indianapolis Colts, keeping him just about an hour away from West Lafayette.
But yeah, no, shout out, little brother's gonna be at Purdue, so that was another big thing. It's like I can't leave the state when I got my brother down the road playing some basketball. It's gonna be his last year of college basketball, so it'll be special.
With Caden heading into his final season at Purdue, the timing lines up perfectly. Between Indianapolis and West Lafayette, the Pierce brothers will both be competing at high levels while getting a rare chance to stay close and enjoy a year in the same state. This past weekend, the EV Grand Prix hosted their 15th annual race. Out of 9 different universities and even a team from Canada, Purdue cart number 18 from the Daniel School of Business won first overall with driver Zachary Hochhauser. The foundation also announced Saturday evening that fall collegiate races for the EV Grand Prix will be starting this upcoming October alongside the spring race. The qualifications for the upcoming Gas Grand Prix were also held this past Sunday, breaking some track records. The first to break the record was Dynaco's Dylan White with a time of 24:826. However, that was short-lived after it was broken yet again by Excalibur driver Carson Bowers with a time of 24:616. Lastly, the Grand Marshal announced that for tomorrow, the race will start off with Purdue basketball head coach Matt Painter. The gates at the track will be open Saturday at 10 a.m., with the pre-race festivities starting around 2 p.m., including a performance from the Gold Dusters and the crowning of the Queen for the Race 69. Painter will also start off the race waving the green flag at 2:30.
Purdue softball toppled several school records this weekend during a stretch that can only be described as dominant. It started with the weekend series at Rutgers. The Boilermakers swept the Scarlet Knights behind a stellar performance from freshman Anna Moore. In the first game, Moore went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. Her second homer was a grand slam to break Purdue's freshman home run record. Moore won Big Ten Freshman of the Week for her efforts against Rutgers and is the only player to win the award 3 times this season. Purdue softball continued its dominant week with 2 games at home on Tuesday against UIC and UIndy. The Boilers won both by a combined 18 runs and broke records along the way. The team surpassed the single-season RBI record in the first game and tied the single-season home run record in the second. Purdue's 5-run home games against UIndy are the most in a game in program history, and Mariah Poehler got her 86th hit to secure the single-season hit record. Purdue closes out the regular season with a home series against Northwestern and an away series at Iowa.
Purdue men's tennis saw its season come to an end in the Big Ten Championship, falling 4-1 to number 23 Michigan State. The Boilermakers fought through the tournament to reach the title match, but the Spartans proved too strong. Michigan State's victory marks a historic moment for their program as they claimed their first Big Ten title since 1967. Purdue showed resilience throughout the season and postseason run, but couldn't shift the momentum against the red-hot Spartan squad. The win also highlights the competitive depth of the Big Ten this season, with multiple teams making strong postseason pushes. For Purdue, the match serves as a learning experience and a stepping stone as the program continues to build toward forward title contention. With the win, Michigan State builds momentum heading into NCAA tournament play, while Purdue wraps up a season just short of a conference championship.
Switching to the women's side, Purdue women's tennis wrapped up its season on the road, falling to number 19 UCLA 4-0. The Boilermakers faced their 4th straight ranked opponent, with 3 of those matchups coming against top 19 teams. In doubles play, the 61st ranked duo of Ida Clement and Edge Genger fell to UCLA's 36th ranked pair, 6-0. UCLA secured the doubles point with another 6-3 win. In singles, Purdue competed against 2 ranked opponents, including number 13 and number 49 in the nation. Edge Genger and Ida Clement both faced top 50 competition. Ashley Wilson highlighted the day for Purdue, pushing her first set to a tiebreak in a hard-fought match. The Boilermakers closed the season with a 7-14 record, going 3-10 in Big Ten play.
The 2026 NFL Draft kicked off last night in Pittsburgh, and for the first time since 2019, Purdue may not hear its name called. The Boilermakers have produced 15 draft picks over the last years, including 5 in 2023 alone. But major mock drafts from ESPN, NFL.com, and CBS Sports show 0 Purdue players selected this year. The one bright spot, Indiana native Dylan Theineman, a Purdue product who transferred to Oregon, is projected as a potential first-round safety pick, keeping the Boilermaker legacy alive, even if the name on the jersey reads Ducks.
Purdue basketball is making big changes in its coaching staff.
Last Tuesday, head coach Matt Painter and Purdue Athletics announced that former Boilermakers Lance Jones and Sterling Carter will be joining the coaching staff. Jones and Carter were both point guards for the Boilers and will be working as graduate assistant coaches for the next 2 seasons. But they're not the only new faces to the coaching staff for next season. It was also announced that Kenneth Lowe would be replacing Terry Johnson as an assistant coach. Lowe played for Purdue from 1999 to 2004, and it was a 2-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Lowe has worked as an assistant coach at other universities, but this will be his first time working as an assistant coach for the Boilermakers. And last but not least, PJ Thompson, another former Purdue point guard and current assistant coach, has been promoted to associate head coach. This is Thompson's 8th season serving on the coaching staff and has played an integral role in player development, recruiting, and scouting.
Wow, what an exciting time for Purdue men's basketball, but the men's team aren't the only ones making changes for next season. Purdue women's basketball is making major moves this offseason, bringing in 4 key transfers to reshape the roster heading into next year. Headlining the group is junior Hannah Wickstrom, who is one of the top scorers in the country, averaging over 23 points per game last season. Joining her is 6'1" junior Avery Aaron, a versatile forward who adds size, strength, and flexibility in the front court, giving Purdue a key inside contributor. International talent joining the mix is freshman Katarina Shadiva, adding skill, versatility, and high basketball IQ to Purdue's lineup. And rounding out the class is freshman Maya Zilberschlag, bringing additional depth and scoring ability to the Boilermakers as they continue to rebuild their roster. Along with the new talent on the court, Purdue head coach Katie Gerald has added 2 new coaches to the staff, Emily Benjumbo and Boyan Yankovic, bringing fresh perspective and support as the Boilermakers head into next year.
And now, my fellow anchor, Lorelai, got an opportunity this past weekend to get a better look at sports broadcasting here at Purdue. Here she is with more on the story.
Sports are a big part of the student experience here at Purdue. You know, the coaches, the players, the history, and the game, whichever game that may be. But what you don't know is that the people behind the camera giving you the best possible game experience are Purdue students themselves. The Big Ten Student U program at Purdue and all Big Ten Conference schools gives students the opportunity to work in live sports production and get experience with working in sports before they go out into the real world. This includes on and off the camera talent, camera operators, and control room operators. I had the opportunity to get a look at what each job entails.
Some things that I do for the Big Ten Network and Student U, I produce and direct some of the shows that we have here for almost every athletic program at Purdue.
I'm a video engineer with Purdue Athletics. My main purpose of my job is to work on the video infrastructure of our venues, whether that's working on the video infrastructure for like a sports venue for a big video board, or the infrastructure for a non-linear show, which is what Big Ten Plus and Student U produces. Those are shows that are going on a streaming network. We have a cool system where everything's over fiber optics, so we can produce a show at Mackey Arena where our control rooms are and send video back to Mackey and produce a show, whether that's a show at baseball, softball, football, volleyball, all that happens at Mackey, so we maintain all the infrastructure that makes that work. And just the hands-on experience in general has been probably the best thing that I've been able to experience.
And Simpson goes opposite field for a base hit.
So I'm the director of the Student U program here at Purdue. We put on about 100, give or take, live events for the Big Ten Network every year using students through our film program. That's kind of what I do. If you can't find me, I'm probably at the ballpark. The Student U program here at Purdue gives students a chance to get their hands dirty, running cameras, calling games. They can direct and produce. They can create graphics and run our instant replay system. The experiential learning component of what we do is vitally important, and it gives the students a chance to really see if they like what they're doing, and maybe it can be a future for them.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reporting from the control room at Mackey Arena and Alexander Field, I'm Lorelai Yeager, Fast Track Sports.
What an awesome program, and I'm glad you got the chance to get a closer look at what everything entails.
That's a wrap for sports, but stay tuned. Fast Track will be right back after this quick timeout.
This club is unique, it's fun, it's active.
we have our meetings where people can come in, write, draw on cards. We send them over to specific hospitals.
So I joined Letters of Love because the original creator of Letters of Love, her mom had cancer growing up, and she took all of these letters that her mom had made. So being able to give back to an organization that can make these kids feel like human again was the most important thing to me.
Now it's time for our question of the week. What are students making of the CS240 situation?
We asked students for their take on how the CS240 situation was handled.
I actually tried pulling up yesterday, but then they were doing the ID checker, so I was not able to go in. But I was I saw clips of people that were streaming it. I think there was definitely bold actions, and I think actions taken too quickly, especially with his method of detecting being shown to have very high false positives findings. But I also think students need to be held accountable for violating the academic honor code that people agreed to when they chose to commit to Purdue University.
I'm not super against the use of AI. I mean, I guess if you're using it to just straight up cheat, that's a problem. But depending how they were using it, just to I guess as a tool, I think it should kind of be used that way. So I don't know. I think he should have just maybe seen how they were using it. I don't know the full situation, but that's kind of my take on it.
240 class.
Yeah, I consider myself to be well versed on the situation. I've been monitoring the situation. I think the intention is good, but I feel if you were gonna use that, you should have used it from the beginning. I like the AI checking tool thing from the beginning, instead of doing it 3 weeks before the semester's over and rug pulling everyone in the class.
For our 7-day outlook, today we are looking at possible rain showers into the evening, and we have a high of 72 with a low of 60 degrees. On Saturday for Grand Prix, we've got clear skies throughout the entire day, sunshine, and a high of 68 with a low of 53 degrees. On Sunday, we see mostly cloudy skies with a little bit of sunshine peeking in here and there. We have a high of 71 degrees and a low of 47. On Monday, we do see rain showers steady throughout the day and possible thunderstorms into the evening with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 55 degrees. On Tuesday, we see partly cloudy skies with a high of 62 degrees and a low of 48 degrees. On Wednesday and Thursday, we see cloudy skies throughout both days with a high of 62 on Wednesday and a low of 45, and a high of 61 on Thursday and a low of 50 degrees.
And that's it for the final show of this semester.
From the Fast Track team to you, we want to say thank you to all who tuned in throughout the semester.